A tale as old as 1996. One that has been told by many people, and one that has been given many answers, some of which are not wrong. Look at you, Jaden Animations. Lions vs. Pokemons. Would a billion lions win against one of every Pokemon, or would the Pokemon prevail? It's obviously the Pokemon, no questions asked. But why? Well, let's talk about it, and I will be doing everything I can to try and give the Lions some sort of chance so they could win. Hi, my name is Skylar. This is a brand new YouTube channel, so if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, that would be great. Speaking of which, I know I said I would have my first subscriber name here, but I'm having some problems finding that. So please be patient as I fix this problem. But YouTube did notify me that Johnny Hernandez subscribed to me, so for the meantime, his name will be shown on screen. Before we begin, you're probably wondering, oh, but Skylar, this has been done before. How do we know you know what you're talking about? Well, does this help? That's right, upgraded data decks. But sure, maybe this isn't a reliable source since it's not actually by the Pokemon Company. But you know what is? Z's. So, yeah, I think I know what I'm talking about. I do want to point out that I'm just going to be using Bulbapedia, which, for those that don't know, is just Wikipedia for Pokemon for most of this video. I just wanted to prove a point. Before we jump straight in it, there are some things that we still need to clarify. I'm not sure if everyone here knows this, but lions aren't exactly immortal. Because of this, Celebi can just travel to the future where the lions are dead. So, for the sake of this video, lions are ageless and always in their prime for some sort of fighting chance. The Pokemon, on the other hand, will be following tournament style rules, meaning they're all locked at level 50, which does change some stats around, but is too complicated for me, so we're going to be ignoring it. We're also going to be completely exiling the trainer, which will be giving the commands, meaning the Pokemon have free will to do whatever they want. But since the trainer is not here, Mega Evolution, Dynamax, C-moves, and Terrestrialization are off the table. There are some exceptions to this in the games, but we won't be getting into that because this stadium is just going to be big enough to house all of them. Then there's the obvious question of what if the lions turn on each other? Will they just fight each other? I mean, Pokemon fight each other all the time, right? Again, for the sake of this video, we're going to say all the Pokemon are on the same team and want to fight the lions, and all the lions are on the same team and want to fight the Pokemon. With all the technicalities out of the way, let's begin. My first thought, and probably many others, is to go straight to Marcargo, because just about every Pokedex entry here says that its body is as hot as lava. But that has been debunked by Loxton and Noggin when they talked about how Magcargo isn't that hot. If you're curious, then I'll leave a link in the description. My next thought is Tyranitar, and the Pokedex for Pokemon X says, in just one of its mighty hands, it has the power to make the ground shake and mountains crumble. In Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it says Tyranitar is so overwhelmingly powerful, it can bring down a whole mountain to make a nest. This Pokemon wanders about in mountains seeking new opponents to fight. While all of that is cool, meaning that he can easily take out most of the billion, he can only go on for so long. If that weren't for the fact of Pokemon Gold Pokedex entry, its body can't be harmed by any sort of attack, so it is very eager to make challenges against enemies, meaning that it can just sit there, swing its arm a few times, and every lion is dead. Easy win, no loopholes, right? Well, there's one teeny weeny itsy bitsy little problem though. It wanders through the mountains seeking opponents to fight. If it finds an opponent not worthy, Tyranitar ignores it and wanders on. So this mountain destroying beast will only fight if it thinks the lions are worthy. And comparing it to one of the magical lions that we have, I think it's pretty clear which one is not worthy and which one could be. So he'll just be sitting in the corner for the rest of this battle doing nothing. Maybe we are thinking too small. Let's go to the legendary Pokemon Yveltal. In Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, it says when its life comes to an end, it absorbs the life energy of every living thing and turns into cocoon once more. While this does sound like just massive energy life sucking nuke, we don't know how big this area is. I mean, sure, it says every living thing, but someone had to be there to record the Pokedex entry. So, how big is it really? Well, since this Pokedex entry comes from Alpha Sapphire, we will say that it consumes the life energy of every living thing in the Hoenn region. Thanks to the help of the Chiptide, with a video he made 2 years ago going in depth of the size of every region, we can figure this out. The link will be in the description if you're curious. According to him, Hoenn is 0.947 miles across. If we assume that this life absorbing bomb goes off in the middle of the region, then that's a circumference of around 1.5 miles. Now, none of this matters unless we know how much surface area the lions take up. According to PBS.org, a male lion can be 5.6 feet to 8.3 feet in length. So if we do some math, that means there are between 954 and 1,414 lions in that area. So even if we got Ditto to copy Yveltal, that would barely do anything to the lions. Speaking of Ditto, why don't we get him or even Mew to change into the indestructible Tyranitar? Well, the Pokedex entries for Ruby and Sapphire say Ditto rearranged its cell structure to transform itself into other shapes. However, if it tries to transform itself into something by relying on its memory, this Pokemon manages to get details wrong. While this is obviously referring to the eyes, it could also be other details we don't realize. And since Ditto sees Tyranitar be defeated in the games, it will assume that it isn't indestructible. The same can't be said for Muso. Many Pokedex entries say that it can just know the techniques of other Pokemon and have the DNA of every Pokemon there is, so there is no loophole for this. While looking at Mew's Pokedex entries, I did find something that made Mew even more powerful, and it comes from Sapphire and Ruby. Mew is said to possess the genetic composition of all Pokemon. It is capable of making itself invisible at will, so it entirely avoids notice even if it approaches people. Assuming that it can be Tyranitar, making it itself indestructible and invisible, then Mew can easily carry the rest of this fight. Well, we can just call it there, right? The Lions have no chance of beating this indestructible and invisible enemy. So, to give the lions more of a fighting chance, we are going to say the gods, or in this case, mythical Pokemon, are uninterested in battle because they are gods after all, and they don't care for such measly arguments. So, I'm going to limit myself from them. But I do want to talk about some legendaries before giving them the same treatment. Entei can cause volcanoes to erupt with a single bark, but we don't know where in the world they are. Along with that, I'm going to say this is a perfectly flat battle arena with nothing special in it. This also stops Pokemon from hiding. In Pokemon Emerald, Lugia's Pokedex entry says Lugia is so powerful, even a light fluttering of its wings can blow apart houses. As a result, it chooses to live out of sight deep under the sea. Lugia also has many entries about causing 40-day storms, which could just kill all the lions in that time. Or what about Regigigas and his entry from Diamond and Pearl, saying there is an enduring legend that states this Pokemon towed continents with ropes. While this is where I banned the legendaries as well, because that just seems way too powerful for such a measly argument. Now that we have legendaries and mythical Pokemon banned from the rest of this video, where do we go now? Underground, of course. No, seriously. Onyx has a Pokedex entry in red and blue where it says, as it grows, the stone portions of its body harden to become similar to a diamond, but colored black. And let me do a quick Google search. Yep, lions can't cut diamonds, but it says similar to diamonds, so we'll loophole this one too. But what we can't loophole is Steelix Pokedex entry. Its body has been compressed deep under the ground. As a result, it is even harder than a diamond. So once again, Steelix can solo this. But wait, the loophole here is that you need to trade the Onyx to get it. So Steelix is out of the match because trading involves human traders. While we are at it, let's go and ban other Pokemon you have to trade or evolve to give an held item to. At this point, I have really stretched out what it means for one of every Pokemon. So for the rest of this video, we aren't going to ban anymore. Now let's move on to the movesets. If we take the moves and their PP into account, which, yes, I understand it's just a game mechanic so you don't spam your most broken move, there's only so much a single Pokemon can do. But Skylar, I hear you saying, even if a Pokemon runs out of PP, they can still swing their arms or bite the lines to attack. Well, this is where I direct you to the literal moves that are just physical based attacking, like bite or pretty much any fighting type move. So, unless the Pokedex specifically says that it can do something indefinitely, or it can do it without a move, I'm going to say that once a Pokemon is out of PP, then it is considered done and out of this competition. While I could spend the next hour of your life going in depth about every single Pokemon move and the perfect moveset for every Pokemon for this scenario, you have places to be and I have a life I have to live. So I will do us both a favor and just pick out some moves that would work best at the broad spectrum. If a Pokemon can't naturally learn it, meaning no breeding or TMs, then it will just be given a random move that I didn't mention that also works. If you do want me to give all 1000 plus Pokemon a custom moveset for this series, though, let me know in the comments and I might do it. So, this is the part of the video where I say I'm not the first to do this. Shocking, I know. Wolfie VGC made a video like this 4 years ago, and that video he made the Pokemon do 10 to the 64th power damage, which is just insane to think about. Now, I could just copy and paste what he said, but there is one problem he has in that video. In it, he assumes that all moves that hit more than one enemy hit every enemy in the battle. Therefore, his damage hits every lion at once. I could say the game it peaked at 5 wild Pokemon, therefore the attacks would only hit 5 lions, but I think it's pretty unrealistic that an earthquake caused by Onyx would only affect the people living in my house. But I also think it's unrealistic that an artificial earthquake caused by Tyranitar, for example, will only hurt those 5 people. So, what's the middle ground here? We take the average earthquake, which is 2 to 4 magnitude, depending on the source that you use, and figure out how much damage it does. And the source I'm using is Michigan Tech, and they claim that even a 5.4 magnitude earthquake only causes minor damage. There is no clear description of what minor damage is, at least none that I could find. But if we go to the images, we could see small blocks or even a few dozen buildings destroyed. The Urban Form Standard claims that a small block is about 1800 feet. So, doing some math, we did for Yellowtall Life Absorbing Explosion, we get 216 and 321 lions. And since this move has 10 PP, we multiply this by 10 and get 2,160 to 3,210 lions for one move of Earthquake. Assuming that the lions die in one shot of this and that it is being optimized, since there are 67 Pokemon that can learn this by leveling up, with the restrictions that we have, we multiply our new numbers by that and get between 123,120 and 182,970. This seems like a big number until we look at how many are left. Yeah, that's barely nothing. If we do the same math for every single move, we would have some absurd number, and every move is different, so moves like Muddy Water will definitely have a bigger area size than moves like Razor Leaf. And this video is already getting long enough, and since Earthquake appears to be our biggest hitting spread move, that's the highest number of lions we'll be able to kill with one move. Then the other spread moves will have lower counts, probably. So, with all of this considered and bending the rules so much where we banned literal gods, the lions can win. We just have to get rid of the literal gods of the world, make the lions ageless and always in their prime, and restrict how much a Pokemon can do. Now, I'm not saying the lions win in every scenario. I obviously pointed out how the Pokemon could easily win numerous times. But in a world where all of these Pokemon are banned and our best moves only kill upwards of 130,000 lions, it could be possible. Hi, you've reached the end of the video. Thanks for watching this far. I really enjoyed making this video and it was a lot of fun doing a bunch of meaningless research for a question most people probably forgot by now. If you enjoy content like this, then make sure to subscribe for more. This is a new channel, so every little bit of support helps. I know I skimmed over a bunch of stuff, like how Gardevoir can create black holes, but that involves a trainer. Or what about Machamp punching it 1,000 times per second? But that would mean he would reach speeds of over 255 miles per hour with one hand. So if he can travel at that speed, then he would be unstoppable. I could have even dived into how Pikachu could send out Thunderbolt and have the electricity bounce between lion to lion to cause some serious damage. There are even battle effects like hail or sandstorms that I could have mentioned to help the Pokemon. But that is a lot of work for something that will only kill a small amount. So if you like this, let me know in the comments what I missed, and I might make a part 2 to this. Until then, peace.